Hello. Hi. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Why is a hello so difficult? Hi and welcome back to my channel. You guys were asking a bunch of questions on Instagram and on the community tab on here on YouTube and on a bunch of other platforms, and I kind of gathered a bunch together. So I hope that you guys can get to know me a bit better, and I don't know, maybe I will satisfy your curiosity a little bit better, because myself, I'm quite a curious cat, so I get it. All right, let me look up some of the questions I have here. Question number 1, when and why did you start to become a cosplayer? I don't think I can nail it down to an exact year of when I started cosplaying at this point, but I think it would be around 2016-ish. So I think at this point, just about shy 7 to 8 years at this point. I started actually not by my own will at first, which is quite a funny story. First time I was cosplaying, I actually wasn't aware I was cosplaying. A friend of mine who also liked to watch anime back with me as well. I was one of the only few peeps who was like one of the nerds, you know, who was watching animes back then. It was not really that popular. I don't know, is it popular nowadays? I'm not quite sure. She was like, hey, there's this anime convention like 6 hours away from us. Do you want to go? And I was like, oh, I've only seen them on I've seen some of them on some YouTubers I've been watching. And I was like, let's go. And then she was like, well, if we go, we need to dress up as one of the characters. And I'm like, how do we do that? And so we ordered this very, very overpriced outfits from a website. I don't even know if the website still exists on it. And we got this very shitty quality costume that was way too big and very unflattering, like a box kind of thing. I think I can put a picture here. Yeah. Funnily enough, that was my first cosplay, and then also during the convention we bought contacts. I didn't know there were contacts that could also correct your sight and be colored at the same time. So I was blind half the convention, I'm gonna be very honest. The reason why I stick to it, however, or why I decided to, hey, I wanna do this better, was because a friend of mine then yanked me to the cosplay contest, and we watched the show and I fell in love with the costumes. I always loved performing and I was like, I want to be in that stage. So naturally, because I didn't know what it was, afterwards went to the contestants, because I am me, and if I'm curious I will go ask. And I was like, hey, that's super cool what you did. How do you get up there? What is that? What do you have to do? Where did you buy your costume? And then these two girls tell me, oh, we made it from scratch. That's how my first interaction, where I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. I want to go on stage. I think that was my main thing. Next question we have is, what's the hardest cosplay you've ever done? I think the easiest way to answer that question is quite simply, it is always the current cosplay I'm working on. Because every new cosplay I make from scratch, I'm trying to put new techniques I'm not familiar with in. With that said, every new cosplay I make includes new techniques I've never used, so it is at that moment my most difficult cosplay to make. Any future plans for cosplays? I do. I always have future plans. As of right now, I'm working on Kane from Art Steel, and there's a bunch of new projects coming up. Some I will reveal over the years, and some maybe will not happen this year, but maybe next year. But you better bet I have a list. It's a very long list. Someone asked what is my favorite cosplay that I have. I think it's in general anything that has short hair and is comfortable to wear. So none of the armors. I love my Borderlands cosplay that I just finished, but it's not the most comfortable, and I prefer things that are easy and comfortable. I really like Percy Jackson, for example, to wear around because it is very comfy. So anything that is easy. Alright, we can stray away from cosplay questions, because surprise what, I am more than just cosplay. Who is my favorite Genshin character? That is Albedo. I'm staring right there, you guys can see that, because my desk is a mess, and you know, I want to be pretend that I'm all clean and well organized, and there's definitely a cosplay mess currently going on right around there. So you guys get the nice background. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I see 6 Albedo prints from here. Does that give you any hints? And I'm collecting more. Alright, what's my favorite anime or manga? One of my favorite ones, I think, because it was one of the first ones I read back then, was Inu Boku Secret Service. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, or Inu Boku SS, or Inu X Boku. Not quite sure how to pronounce it, gonna be very honest. I really like the characters' energies, and just, I think that was my first, like, I guess anime crush when I was like a teenager. Fairy Tail also has a very like special place somewhere in my heart. So I think those two kind of classify as like my favorite ones, I guess. Are you planning on doing more CMVs? I do plan on doing more CMVs. I actually put out a CMV every month, but I do it on Patreon. And that is because I gotta eat. And as much as I love my other social media platforms, I don't get paid for it. I do them because I really enjoy it and I love sharing my art and everything. But my main income goes towards the platforms that pay me, which is YouTube does a little bit at this point, but not enough to, you know, have a livable wage or livable income from it. It's like a nice little extra that makes it easier for me to buy more cosplay materials, which is, you know, the main thing I'm using it for, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, more videos are in the making and also more YouTube videos like these will be coming. However, I will ask you guys to be patient with me because I am one person, and what I mean by that is in most pictures I post on social media, I am my own photographer, I am my own editor, I am my own content creator, I make my own cosplays, I make my own wigs. So, you know, it's kind of everything at once. I also have to market myself, and like if I want to work with companies, I do everything out of my own thing. I am my own studio completely and my own boss, which is great. But it's a lot of work, so things don't go super fast sometimes because, again, I need to make sure that I have a roof over my head and food on the table, because that is, in the end of the day, the most important thing, at first, for me at least. Do you have any hobbies outside of cosplay? I'm gonna be very honest with you. Cosplay in itself is not just a hobby anymore, it is part of my job. However, my job does not just include cosplay as much as I would just do cosplay and shoots and be like, that's my job. There's so much more next to it. And I managed to include all of my hobbies in that, or I turn my hobbies into making profit with them, which is photography is one of my biggest hobbies and passion. And I also started doing cosplay photography next to it. So, you know, I can combine all of it together, which is great. But next to it, I do play video games from time to time if I get to it, and I like to read. It's very boring, right? I feel like I'm in the school presentation, or you know, like the friendship books that's been like, what are your hobbies? Oh, I like to read and I like to play video games. Yeah, I used to do pole dance and stuff like that as well. I'm currently not, but I'm looking into getting a new studio soon to go train again. The whole pandemic kind of has thrown everything around and my whole schedule kind of flew over the board. So yeah. Do you speak German? I do speak German, yes. For anyone who has the first language English, most likely is able to hear out an accent when I talk. I've worked hard to get rid of it, like the most recognizable things, but I occasionally still have some flatly German pronunciation. And I am Swiss, so yeah, I do speak fluent German. I speak fluent Swiss German as well. I understand partially French. I had like 12 years in school, so that's the French that I speak. And I also technically am half Hungarian, but I don't speak the language fluently, sadly. Do you have siblings? I do have a sibling, yes. I have a younger brother, and we're on good terms. We sadly don't see each other that much because we live in different countries, but we call from time to time, so yeah. If you could hire someone to help you to clean and cook, would you? If I could afford it, I would without a doubt. I cook. I'm not the biggest fan of cooking. I can cook quite well, and I occasionally like cooking. But it takes so much time, and the same with cleaning. It just takes a lot of time with things that I would rather fill with other things. So if I could afford it, yes. Have you ever had a nickname? Not really. I think people just call me Wynter. That's it at this point. Yeah. Do you have any pets? I do. I have a cat called Oscar. He's lovely. He's a little chaos monster. He's gonna be 3 years old this year, and I adore him. He has a lot of personality. If you ever tune in any of my live streams, you've probably seen him or at least heard him. And even if you check my Instagram stories from time to time, if you hear me talk, you just hear in the background like a meow, and I'm like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? I think I'm a good mix of both. I think it's called ambivert. Is it? I think it is. I do enjoy being out with people. I have no trouble talking to people. I'm not really shy. I can go and, you know, stand in front of 1,000 people talking to a mic. I don't mind that whatsoever. I'm also not nervous about it. However, I also like to just be by myself for multiple days in a row, just, you know, in my little cubbyhole, sitting on the corner of the couch with my laptop, just editing and looking like a gremlin. Or I can be in my craft room for like a week and just, you know, do my cosplay stuff and not talk to anyone. And I have a great time with that. So I think it's a good mix of both. I need a good balance of kind of like both. Will we see more on here with you and Isa? You will probably, most likely. I will also include them in some videos if I feel like it. But I will most likely create content that is more focused on like my craft and myself, and we'll see. As I said in my previous video, I'm not quite sure where we're going with the channel just yet, but I want to leave it open and don't, you know, focus myself. This is the one thing I'm going to do. So we're just going to, you know, do what we feel like, and that's kind of it, I guess. Would you ever do a video where you react to some of your friends' TikToks? Definitely. As I said, why not? Sure. I mean, it sounds fun, no? On a scale from 1 to 10, how funny would you say you are? Ooh, I don't know. I would say I'm around 6 or 7. I don't think I'm necessarily funny, but I'm very good in comebacks and conversations. Like, you know, if someone says something, I'm quite good in like having a quick response, I guess. So yeah, I hope this wasn't too awkward. I am still figuring this out, as I said, but I hope you get to know me a little bit better. I maybe do a video later on of like, you know, a few facts about me, but I would have to think about those first and like write them down and stuff. Until then, please feel free to check out my other social media accounts where I'm also just everywhere as like Wynter Phoenix or Wynter Cosplay. And yeah, I see you around. Thank you for checking by. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. That does a lot apparently. And in the guide I read, it was encouraged to ask you guys to do so, so I shall do so. I see you around. Thank you for joining, and yeah, I can't wait to go on this adventure with you guys this year.